House Republicans and the White House kicked off the week thinking they'd finally pass their Obamacare repeal bill. But by Tuesday morning, worry had once again gripped the House GOP leadership, as Speaker Paul Ryan and his team floundered in their bid to land the votes. Nearly 20 GOP lawmakers, mostly moderate or centrist Republicans, have now added their names to the no column. The most recent, longtime Donald Trump supporter Rep. Billy Long, RMO, even rebuffed the president's personal plea to back the bill in a phone call Monday afternoon. At the same time, the list of Republicans who say they're undecided has grown to at least 24. Even several GOP whips tasked with drumming up support. The bill said Monday night they have not yet made up their minds on whether to support the revised American Health Care Act. House Republicans, who can only lose 22 votes and still pass the bill, are planning a Thursday members-only meeting to discuss the repeal effort. While top Republicans insist Ryan's leadership team is close to reaching the 216 vote threshold needed passage, their job is becoming tougher by the day, as more lawmakers publicize their opposition to the latest version of the bill. Publicly, GOP leaders are projecting an upbeat message. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, our Caliph, said Monday night, "I actually feel we're in a very good place." Chief Deputy Whip Patrick McHenry, RNC, said, "I think we'll pass the bill," as he walked into GOP conference meeting on Tuesday morning. House Republican leaders last week asked a number of lawmakers to hold off on releasing statements of opposition to the bill. They'd hoped to win some of them back, and knew that would be much tougher once members' positions were made public. With about 20 lawmakers firmly against the bill, GOP leaders would have to persuade almost every undecided lawmaker to support the legislation on the floor. That's an extremely narrow margin for passage, amounting to something of toss of the dice should Ryan bring the legislation to a vote. Ryan took questions from concerned lawmakers during a Tuesday morning conference meeting, specifically addressing their concerns about pre-existing conditions protections in the bill. Leaders are emphasizing the protections in the bill, including a requirement: states opt out of Obamacare regulations create risk pools to help pay the premiums. Those with pre-existing conditions. Leaders are also reminding members that, under the bill, insurance companies could only charge people with pre-existing conditions more if they have a gap in coverage. If they remain on insurance, they cannot be charged more than a healthy person. Complicating leadership's whip effort. Trump, in a Monday interview, suggested the bill was not yet final. A number of undecided voters, including moderate Rep. Mike Kaufman, Arkelo, took Trump's comments to mean the legislation was once again open for negotiation, though GOP leaders have said the legislative text is set in stone. Leadership is operating under a time crunch. The House is scheduled to break for a one-week recess starting Thursday, and Republicans fret that they could lose even more momentum during the break. Some are talking about canceling the recess, though GOP leaders have not yet decided how to proceed. If we don't get a yes vote this week, then what happens realistically? We're taking flack back in the districts for not voting for a repeal, said Rep. Dave Bratt, Arva. What is the response? The response is, well, if we block this again, then you'll get a scenario like the budget vote, where we go out and get Democratic votes to pass the health care bill. And that is a worse outcome. If you don't get this policy passed, you end up with a Democratic bill. The White House raised expectations over the weekend. The bill would pass the House on Wednesday, a timeline most on Capitol Hill scoffed at. GOP leaders thought later in the week was more realistic. Now, they're not so sure. One senior White House official said it's probably a toss-up right now as to whether the plan passes the House this week. It's becoming increasingly apparent. While House Republicans have campaigned on repeal for years, a large chunk of the party no longer wants to scuttle Obamacare. The law has become more popular, and lawmakers are worried they'll be blamed if constituents lose coverage. Still, a majority of Republicans believe they have to fulfill their campaign promise, or voters will make them pay in 2018. "I think we're close. I think we're getting closer by the day," said Vice Conference Chairman Doug Collins. "Arga. Who knows when it will be? But when we get those votes, we'll pass this bill." Josh Dawsey contributed to this report.